Welcome back to the channel. Just before I get into the video showing me adapting the 4-band 2E0ERO loop, I just thought I'd bring up Adrian's website, 2E0ERO.co.uk. So if you want a bit more information on what Adrian does, then feel free to visit this site. I met Adrian at Hamfest on the Moonraker stand, demonstrating or showing his new designed loop, which looked pretty impressive. So the first part of that video will be me just showing you a bit of a snippet of the loop on the stand before I cut into mine. So sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the shack, guys. I'm decided to put my 2E0ERO 4-band mag loop. I'm going to put it outside, so I'm going to sacrifice it, but obviously I want to give it its best chance possible to survive, and that is obviously keeping it watertight around the capacitor and the motor there. So what I've actually got to start this little project is a nice little, well, it's IP68, the enclosure itself, but by the time I've put some holes in it, it's not going to be that. Hence why I've got some silicone sealant here. This is just some cheap sanitary silicone sealant, which should suffice, really. I've also got, because this loop here is the motor driven one, I've got some speaker flex, and it's probably going to be 9 to 10 meters away from here, up the top of the garden. So I've just got some speaker cable here. I think it's 0.75 mil. It's more than enough to carry the very small current to drive the motor. I've also got myself some self-amalgamating tape. Now that's for the connection of the coax. I've also got one of these inline PL259 female connectors. I've also got with me some of these little sachets of silica gel that come with various components I've been ordering. I'm just going to put those in the enclosure just to initially take away any potential moisture build-up, because by the time I get this sat outside, it's going to be quite cozy indoors but very cold out. So so I'll be putting those, just taping those to the bottom. So things to note, this motor cable, I'm going to leave this connection within the enclosure. So I'm going to actually be putting the enclosure around here, covering up the capacitor. The coax that's feeding the actual driving loop here, I'm going to have outside the box. I'd rather that not run inside the loop itself, just get that out as quick as possible. So I think it's going to be a bit of a chop and change, chop and try, should I say, because I've got to contend with this bottom part here. So what I'm going to do is get the enclosure on, do the various cutting, get it roughly in place. What I will need to do is double check that the motor is still working and make sure I've not pulled out the knocked out the pin, the drive there. I don't want to seal it up and find it doesn't work. And what I will be doing is putting some Vaseline around various parts, connections, screw joints. Anyway, I'll catch you shortly. I've got half of the enclosure on. There's a couple of bits to note that originally this enclosure had 3 20mm holes in the bottom, so I've had to adapt those slightly. So I'm going to have to sort of seal them in, block them off. Just make sure that the these terminations here, what come off the capacitor, the screws there, are tightened up before you attempt to actually put it all together. But anyway, you can see what I've done there so far. Again, I've got the coax here. I'm going to have that outside the enclosure, and the motor drive cable, you can just see in the back there, will come out the bottom of the enclosure there. So I've got quite a bit of sealing to do. So anyway, let's continue. Right, the enclosure is on. I've not sealed it in. It's the best I can do. You might say it looks a bit cumbersome and large, but I only paid something like £5 or £6 for this enclosure anyway, so it'll do me. It's not the tidiest of cutting, but I'm sure it'll do the job. So what I'm going to do now is just test the motor drive and make sure it's working before I start to start sealing this part up and the bottom here, as it's exposed. Not that water's going to get in the bottom. The main concern is little insects and animals getting in the bottom there and getting in between the capacitor plates. So let's continue. It's a good job I did actually check, because it wasn't working. The shaft had dropped, so but now it's working. That's the slow mode. Just another little addition. I've just put a cable tie base there, sticky pad, and just tie wrap the motor drive cable out the way, because it was sort of running up the back of these plates here and I didn't want it to interact. So I've kept that away there by just putting a little tie wrap and a sticky pad base there. There we go. As you can see there, I've just put tie wrapped a couple of small bags of silica gel. Just more of a preventative measure really. But they won't cause any harm if they drop, because I've sort of put them on the away from the capacitor, so if they do fall off or come unstuck, they'll be clear of causing any obstruction. Right guys, it's time to get the silicone out now. I'm going to start on the bottom. You can see it's quite challenging there. The enclosure I got, as I said, had 3 20mm holes already in the bottom, so I've had to do the best I can really. So anyway, I'm going to get that sealed up along with the top portion of the enclosure as well, and I might even do the seam as well, but I just don't want to do it to the point that I can't get back into it next year, and in case I need to just check to make sure there's no damp in there, or if I have a problem. But anyway, let's see how we get on and see how my silicone fares up. Right, I've put the loop up in its temporary location. Just to give you an idea of enclosure size I've used, it's 210 by 160 by 90mm. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here for about 2 weeks now, just to be proper weathered. We've got a lot of wind and rain coming, and I just want to expose it to the elements just to make sure it's watertight, and then I'll just do a test and make sure the capacitor motor works and it tunes. So anyway, it's sitting about 10 foot above the ground at the moment. I do eventually want to sort of put it on this back fence over here. I'll just show you there. But again, it's just temporary. So what I've actually done, this is my feed, my normal feed to my DX Commander, which I've taken down at the moment. So I didn't want to put any self-amalgamating tape around the join, so I've just done a bit of a DIY weatherproofing there for now. So yeah, let's see how it gets weathered, and in my next part of my video we'll see if it still works. Right, I'm in the shack and the 2E0ERO loop is now connected, and here's the little controller there. And with it being almost 10 p.m, hence why I'm on 40 meters. Anyway, let's just have a listen around.
KG8Y, 73's from Ohio. Take care, good to you.
Yes, 9 Alpha 3 Kilo returning, no problem, man. Okay. I work...
Please note, I have got the preamp on, the highest setting. I don't think I think it'll make a big difference. I would imagine I'm pretty well tuned where I am at the moment. Let's just take the preamps off. Sorry, wrong function. Preamp off.
Have a good weekend and see you down the road. Kilo Golf 8, Yankee Alpha, 9 Alpha 3 Kilo, over.
Yeah, can just hear that US station.
M6 Mike Delta Germany. Good evening, David. You are 59 plus, over. QSL, QSA, David.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Let's just go out the way. Let's go down 3-1 and just check the SWR. Okay. I'm just using the internal battery. Just make sure nobody's on this frequency. Okay, let's just give it a constant carrier. Wow. Pretty happy with that.
Okay. 59 is the port for your QRP station, HI. Bill. You're coming like all other, not a problem. Name is Sunny. Sierra Alpha, November, Juliet.
Okay,
India,
let's
November,
just take it out of band. Yeah, motor's working well. Bit of interference, as you'd expect from the motor drive on HF.
This is 9 Alpha 3 Kilo, CQDX. Mexico 3 Whiskey Tango Delta. Okay. Good evening. 5 knots plus 20, over.
Right, yeah, I'm happy with that.
QRP or you change the power?
I'm sure he was calling CQDX then. Anyway, I'll leave it at that one. I'll say 7.3 and catch you in the next one.